Call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. To refuse, hang up now or stay on the line for additional options. To hear the billing rates for this call, say or dial 9. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Hello? Hey, how's it going, Jay?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing today, Carlos?
Hey, man, I'm just trying to stay positive like every other day. Not every day is flowers, but you know what? Through it all, I can smile and just be thankful that I'm alive, that I got food, that I got a fiance, and I got a good family, and I don't got no problems outside this outside myself. Like it's pretty good, you know what I mean? I'm keeping maintaining the peace, keeping my sanity, and just trying to keep a smile through it through every single day, right? No matter what comes at me.
That's right, man. Hey, that's why I always like talking to you. Always got a, always got a good, always got a positive attitude,
Yeah,
even though that's is that under right now. That's
yeah,
always I'm sure like have a lot of good people around you, have you around, positive and
yeah.
stable.
That's right. Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, you go to day room and right away. Don't get me wrong. I don't avoid people that are going through things either. You know what I mean? Sometimes I approach the situation, but if they're going through something, I can help them get out of a depression or sit down with them and have some real serious talks with them. Be like, hey man, what's bugging you now? What's going on? Oh, so and so, you know what I mean, talking this, saying that, and I feel like doing this. I'll be like, hey, you know, did he touch you? Like, did he actually put his hands on you? Nah. Look, man, people are always gonna talk shit, regardless whether you like it or not. Whether you're the best person in the whole wide world or the worst, they're always gonna talk shit. The thing is, are you gonna allow that to frustrate you and get the best of you? Because that's what you're doing. They're just throwing arrows, and if you let them stick, they're gonna get you, man. And look at I just gotta see you like this. I don't like seeing you like that, my boy. You know what I mean? What's up, man? Come on, like shake it off, homeboy. Like don't sweat the small shit. Like they ain't nothing. You know what I mean? You're gonna let their words have power over your emotions right now today. Like who are you? You know what I mean? Who do you say you are? And be like, all right. They start snapping out of it like, all right. So like that's right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, homie. Like what's going on? Come on, how you doing, man? So and then it just starts lifting them up. And it's just perspective of how you approach people and what kind of energy you can bring to them because sometimes some people's energies, like you say, you can feel them, right? It's like an aura they have, and you can feel positive people around you. You can feel people that are like real negative, or you can feel someone that's going through something. Like sometimes just even by a simple hug or an embrace that you get from them, like they're going through something. So yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That man, I hear that. Um, so today I want to talk about uh back on the back in death row. You guys have
Yeah.
tablets when you were back there on death row?
Nah, man. Like this is a new technology thing that just barely came out, and maybe 2021. So I've been down there since 2020, since 2013. So it's this is all new technology for us. This tablet situation. I didn't get mine till this year, 22. But they've been out since like 21 around there, right? And so yeah, man, we didn't have no type of way of. All we had was just like a payphone, like the old school payphones they used to see on the streets, something like that on a cart, and they used to just roll it to us to ourselves and crack our tray slot where our food comes in and out from, and just leave the phone right there on some wheels that rolls, connected with a big ass line, like a phone line and a power line that connects to a wall, and we just grab the phone into our cell and just make a phone call in death row. Yeah.
And as far as like communicating, writing, writing letters,
Okay.
was that huge? You know, like do a lot of people they receive mail and whatnot, or how's that work?
Oh man, tell you the truth, mail in prison. Whoo! All you hear is mail call. You know what I'm saying? When you hear that, it's like you start seeing people get up, go to their doors and see where they're at, where the mail guys at, because that's like a lifeline to us in prison, to hear from our loved ones, to hear from responses, from letters, from like correspondence, pen pals, studies, or just having this any type of connection from to the outside world. That's all we had was mail. Like that's one of the biggest things, believe it or not, in prison that exists today and exists, probably it's dying out. You know what I mean? Writing is a dying out art now. You know what I mean? It's hardly nobody writes letters no more. Nobody buys pen, paper and pencil no more. Everybody's on those phones and the tablets. So, uh, you know, when you write things out on paper, I believe you have more time to articulate your words, think about what you're gonna say, and you can express yourself a lot better, like on a piece of paper, right? When you're writing it out, because you get to erase, put some more intelligent words, bring out the dictionary, and touch it up real good, make it all, put your little finesse into it, and send it out and send out a masterpiece, right? So, in prison, mail call was a very, very big part of everybody's life. Any inmate can say that. And sometimes there's some people that's just never received no mail, right? Because a lot of people,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
a lot of their people from the outside world, like their families, cut them loose because they're on death row, and they don't have nobody to write them, and they connect with people like pen pal service or lifeline services that hook you up with like different sites that you can write to England, and sometimes to Africa or China, the Philippines, like these different people from other countries. And it's a trip because other countries don't believe in death row, and when they hear about California death row, they think like, oh my God, those are probably the most dangerous inmates they have in all California. You know what I mean? Like serial killers, the worst of the worst. And they all these movies they be watching, right? And it's not even like that, but they have a lot of compassion for inmates, man, because they're so confined. They you know they don't kill them. They don't do nothing. They're just stuck in a box. And there's a lot of outreach programs that reach out to inmates. Like there was this one when I first got down to San Quentin in 2013. There was this woman named Sarah Benton, and she started writing to me from Surrey, England, just out of nowhere, right? And she was like, "Yeah, I looked you up, and I heard you're on death row. I could see, and is it okay if I can start building a relationship with you and writing to you?" And so I'm like, "Okay, I got nothing to do, and plus I'm trying to do this positive biblical thing in my life." So I started writing this girl, and she was about my age too. She was a white girl from Surrey, England, and she started telling me her story, like that she was blind. She made herself blind because she would she was bulimic. She used to be real big, and so she started sticking her finger in her mouth, and every single time she would eat, and finger in her mouth and throw it all out, right? Just throwing up all her food. And from throwing up a lot, throwing up and throwing up, and she said she was so good that all she had to do was she didn't even need to use her fingers no more. She just needed to think about it, and she could just throw up and get all the food. Well, from doing it from so many years, from gagging and gagging, her eye sockets, her blood vessels in her eye sockets started deteriorating, and they told her, look, if you keep it up, you're damaging your blood vessels in your eye sockets, and you're going to start damaging them so bad you're going to go blind.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
She didn't want to believe it, She was like, nah, no, I won't, And so she kept doing it. She kept doing it. She got real, like, anorexic and skinny, right? And, yeah, she went blind from throwing up, man. And then plus she was diabetic, and those two combinations of bulimic and diabetic both combined together caused her to go blind. And so she, she was a person that she opened up to me all these things through letters, right? Her whole life. And I as well, told her about my childhood, how I grew up, and, believe it or not, 5 years. She was there for still to this day, she's still trying to reach out. But for 5 years strong, she was a person that encouraged me, a person that was there, writing me letters, supporting me, buying me books, nothing like a romantic kind of relationship or nothing like that, just a good friendship, you know what I mean? Just people having a good friendship, two people getting to know each other from different countries. And it's awesome, you know what I mean, when you can do that through letters. And that's just one of the first things that I can say how important it was, because she was there for me in my worstest time of my life. I just got sentenced to death. And if I ever needed someone to talk to at that time, she was there for me. I can say that. She was literally there. And, yeah, you know what I mean? When you're in prison, you get all kinds of people reaching out to you. Jesus Christ loves you. He's here to save your soul. There's hope for you. There's forgiveness. There's a lot of people that write to you like that, from different organizations all around the world, right? Trying to do that too. And then there's some people that write to you from, like I have a friend from Washington. Her name is Kat, and she's a married woman with her man, and she was, an alcoholic, her and her husband, and they went through a lot of things, They went through a lot of things, and me being a man of God and a positive person, I would try to tell her and advise her how to go about it in a good way when she would argue with her man, like put myself in her man's shoes and in a way to where I would tell her, well, don't you think, you're overreacting maybe because, and give her that different perspective, open up her understanding to understand how her husband's thinking, or just to simply just help her think outside the box. And these little conversations that I would have with her, I would advise her and help her, in her marriage, low key. And she thanks me a lot, because she didn't have somebody out there that she could tell these things to, that were close to her friends or anybody like that. So when she was getting this advice from a complete stranger that she probably will never meet, it just seemed more real to her, more honest. And if they say you could run into a bus stop and you'll run into somebody right there and you'll tell them your whole life story, and because you'll never see them again. Well, it's kind of like that when people write to us and they tell us everything like that, and we can't judge them. We don't know them, right? We'll never see them, and so yeah, like there's different situations that we run into like that are awesome, and there's different people that meet different relationships at times, old flings, people from high school that look you up, or old ex-relationships, and trying to rekindle things, and there's just a variety of avenues that letters can reach to a person that's locked up to open up different
You have 60 seconds remaining.
experiences, and I ain't gonna lie, like sometimes it's drama, and but when you're in prison, like you kind of like drama because you don't have none of that in your life, right? So instead of watching the soap operas on TV, you're living it, with these new relationships that you get while you're in prison, and it can be exciting. We don't got nothing to do in here, so when we hook up with different people on different websites or like pen pals, and we put ourselves. Some people put themselves on writeaprisoner.com or TikTok or whatever the case may be that they do. Um, it just it helps us to connect out to the world, and that's what we want to do is to feel a little bit normal.
Time was up. How was this? He should be calling us back shortly. And once again, remember it. That I'll ask these questions. Call back. Comments. That. That's when I just.
This call is now
This
being
is
recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Carlos Contreras.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello, Carlos.
All right. Yeah, like I was telling you, letters is a lost art. You know what I mean? That's dying out, and hardly a lot of people don't write no more. So letters are a way for us to connect to the community and build relationships and have a sense of humanity, right? A purpose, finding worthiness, still feeling like people care about us. And because being in prison can get real lonely, right? And the only people you get to deal with is just the people around you here in prison. So when you get like mail call, like it connects you. It connects you to the world outside, and that's how I ain't gonna lie. That's how I ended up meeting my fiance. You know, she looked me up. You know, Almita Elias. She looked me up, and she was going through a lot of things in life, and who would have known, you know, that a person that was going through suicide, going through mourning, going through like a divorce, would get comfort from someone in prison and help her deal with all the things she's been facing in life. And all she needed was just pretty much someone to care about her, to comfort her, and to help her heal, and to really be there for her, right? And because the world is going around so fast around where she was at that nobody had time to help her, right? Or nobody really cared. And that's kind of sad, though, you know what I mean, in a way. But, you know, I don't regret it for 1 minute. That's how I met my wife. You know, I known her since we were little kids, like 9 or 10 years old. We had our little fling, and she married, I married. We had our relationship. She had her kids, and I did my prison terms. And lo and behold, 40 years down the line, like 20 years down the line, we ended up meeting up, and this woman that I met is a remarkable woman. You know, she has been there for me through tough times right now, just as my family has. But she's been there too. Like, this is the person that I'm gonna call my wife, and so she has been my rock. She has been my support. She's the one that has sent me letters, money, and what just because of pen pal, or just because of a letter that I got, I would never in my imagination think that I would have got that much out of life just by someone writing me. So yeah, letters are very important, you know, in prison. And but to tell the truth, now with this new technology that we're getting now with the tablets, it's something fresh, something new, something that we're all trying to develop. And because sometimes people just request you and you accept them, and it's almost like the same method. It's a lot faster because now you don't have to write the letter, go to the post office, or buy the stamps, and then that whole process. Everything is easier now, and and it's going to help us to reconnect with society now a lot more with just the community, on our part, and them connecting with us even faster. And I like that. That's something that I'm grateful for, and you're able to reach someone in an instant. Send a text to someone in the morning, and what does it cost us just to send an encouraging text to them in the morning? Be like, hey, I hope you have a good day today. Be blessed. I'm praying for you. Don't sweat the small stuff that comes at you. You know what I mean? Face it. Grab it by the horns. You know what I mean? You're more than a conqueror. You can do this, and send them out with that text in the morning before they start their day. You know what I mean? And that's just opened up a big window for us to be there for more people now, and I like that. So I like this new technology as towards that. But yes, writing is a dying art, man. There's a beauty there too, though.
Carlos,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
during that England
Yeah,
did mention that
yeah,
line. I'm curious if
yeah.
how was she have somebody writing the letter, how that process went.
Um, yeah. It was a device. She said it was called dragging, and so it was a device that you can hook up to her computer, and she just speaks it out and it types it for her. Like it types it for her, and then her caseworker comes and prints it out for her and mails it for her, and she sends it. She came all the way from England to visit me in death row. Like that's how much of a connection we ended up having. Like me and this girl, and she had to have like a chaperone, someone to guide her because she can't see, and it was a big old thing. She she's a very remarkable woman, man. The things that she would do, even because she was blind. Like this girl, she participated in a marathon for a charity, and she was trying to raise money for a charity because, for guide dogs, people that are blind for guide dogs, and she ran a mile blind with someone, kind of escorting her, right? And so little things like that. She dived in tanks with sharks, and she skydived with her guide dog, like all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And she'd do it for charities, like, and and she's blind, you know what I mean? And she's doing all these things. So it's just amazing to me that if she was able to see the things she would really be able to do, right? But don't get me wrong, there was also those sad stories that I would hear from her, like where sometimes she would go out with her friends, and they would be having a bonfire in the woods, and her friends would be with their boyfriends, and she didn't have nobody. And sometimes she would be stuck in the van, pretty much kind of like alone, because everybody was so drunk that they would forget about her, and she would be stuck in the van alone. Like imagine being sitting there somewhere and you could just hear someone having a conversation, but everybody's too drunk that they forgot all about you, and they're sitting in the van until like maybe 45 minutes later. They're like, "Oh, where's Sarah at? Oh my God, let's go get her." And but because she's blind, and she's real humble, and she wouldn't say nothing, and but yeah, this is I got to build a good bond with her, man, and so yeah.
And another question, do you know if she got that under her health condition
Yes.
after eyesight?
No, after she lost her eyesight, she stopped doing that. And like that scared straight type of deal. Like once you lose your eyesight, like it became a reality to her, and so she stopped doing that. You know, and part of it was because she was able to look at her body, and she would see herself kind of gordita and kind of fat, and so that's why she would do it. But now she couldn't completely see herself, so a part of her brain said kind of like got blocked because she didn't care what she looked like, 'cause she can't even see herself, and she was more in shock. Like she said, just imagine one day you just go to sleep and you wake up and the lights don't ever turn on no more, and they're just in complete darkness. That was her life from that day on, just like that.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And I was
Nope.
like, what? She, yeah,
That's tough, Like right now, in a visual for
yeah,
I just close my eyes and I want like to be blind,
yeah,
and it's effective, having your eyesight, everything a different world,
man,
how you've been able to see. So
yeah. She she taught me a lot. Yeah, she taught me a lot. She goes, yeah, she goes, because I'm blind, I have to. She has her own place. Like she has her own place. She has a little walking stick. She goes shopping and does all her things. And when she makes extra help, she calls somebody and they come for her. But in her house, when they first moved her in, it's like she goes, it's all about memory. You got to remember, okay, the table's to your left, touch it, coming in, and then take 3 steps forward. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now reach out your arms, your right arm. That is the couch. Okay, remember that. That is the couch. Repeat it 3 times. That is the couch. That is the couch. Okay, now go back and touch the table repetitively, Lily. She had to remember her whole house like that and memorize that. She said the first couple of months she was bumping into things, and then she had to like I need to remember this shit. She goes, and because she had to learn it, and but yeah, that's their life. They have to remember things. And if you move any little things, like someone goes visits and they just move one little thing where what's not supposed to be, it can be very dangerous because they're walking like real fast and they can trip and like fall and hit some. They can't put their hands. They don't know, like they'll just fall and hit and bust themselves open, right? So yeah.
and right now, a moment ago, you and Eliasman as a question
Mhm.
it asking
Yeah.
it context vid. Also, are they other death mates death row currently I sent out with you? And
Okay. Hey, all right now, Iceman. Yeah, I send mine towards you, huh? And as towards people in death row, we're all like in cages, right? So because when we go to visiting, it's like a dog kennel, you know what I mean? Like a dog kennel cage, and it's a big old door, and they let us in. And then on the other side, on each side, there's 2 doors. There's one door where we come in, and then there's a door where your visitors come in. But it's all like a fence, like a fenced in cage, and they just put a couple chairs inside, a little table, and when they come in, they bring in the food that they bought off the vending machines. They bring it in with them on a tray. They close the door, and then they uncuff me, and they put me inside the cage, and they uncuff me while I'm in there, and they look at me while I'm getting uncuffed, and then I have my visit with my family. But they're on kennels. Like every single inmate has their own cage, every single person, and there's about 16 people inside each visiting room. And here in Centinela, in this dorm that I'm in, there's one, two, three. There's 3 people, 3 more people on death row that are on the pilot program here in Centinela in this building alone. In other buildings, there's maybe uh, about 3 more total. So there's about 6 of us in the whole yard, and out of that pilot program, there were 75 inmates released into population, and out of the 75, 6 of us are right here. So yeah, it's kind of, I can relate with these guys. They know exactly where we all came from. Like 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 when I find my people, my circle that I hang around with, mostly almost like every single day that I try to build my strong bonds with. Those are like the ones that I do, is because I know I'm gonna see them for a long period of time as my death row partners, right? And I'm gonna keep seeing them from prison to prison, or for like a lot of years. They're not gonna leave. They're not going nowhere. And so those are the people that I trust with my closest conversations, my trust, everything. And so we're all pretty close because we all came from the same area.
And I remember in qualified for pilot program originally ended up at Donovan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Donovan,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
there's a total of 17 of us over there. And the yard that I was first on, there were 7 of us, and the other 10 were on another yard. Because there was 2 level 3s. There was A yard and D yard, and there were 2 level 3s. And they're just trying to spread us all around everywhere. And so yeah, like I said, that stigma when you get there, like when the MMA hears, hey, where'd you come from? San Quentin Death Row. They take 2 steps back, like, from where? They just can't believe it. Like, what? From Death Row? Like, why? What are you doing here? They're all surprised, right? And once they get to know you and get to see that you're not a threat, or that you're just a normal person just like them, man, they calm down, right? So it's that stigma, right? And
All right, so the was reading your last message, Freeing. Carlos was calling me. So like I mentioned, laptop, I have a room.
This call is now
This
being
is
recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Carlos Contreras.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Yeah.
Oh, Carlos.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. All right now.
So I
But
think
yeah.
go ahead. You
Yeah. Go for it.
speaking.
Go for it. Go for it. No, I was just talking about the when I was in Donovan, how I had to go through that stigma, right? And also with the officers, and even like with the counselors and the medical services, like part of them, when you go in, and because they start conversation with you, right? Like when you're going to just go to a medical appointment, they're asking you these questions. Oh, are you ever getting out? Well, no, I'm a condemned, like the nurses or something like that. And they're like, what do you mean you're condemned? I'm a condemned inmate. He goes, oh, so you came out of condemned, so you're LWAP? I said, no, I'm a condemned inmate. Like I'm on a pilot program, and they just like right away you could feel the get uncomfortable for something. I don't know what it is that they like you could feel their body just cringing, like they get fearful. They get like what do you mean, like like if they just want to run out the room, but they don't want to show that they're scared, right? But they're still standing there asking me questions, right? So I had to go through that like the first couple of months, And then after a couple of years, like they got to get used to us, and they got to, you know, see that we we were no harm, we were no threat, and so. But yeah, it's a funny thing when people don't know that we're just regular inmates, man. This is just made some mistakes, and that's it. Some of them ain't even that bad of a crime. Don't get me wrong, any murder is a bad crime, but there's people in the regular line, in regular population, that killed two or three or four or five people, and they're not even on death row. And so, it's a trip. All that's just that's something that I had to deal with, right?
Um, is there any reason why there's such a lot of it?
Uh, I believe because Donovan is more cool. It's more of a tourist area, and so like when your family come visit you, they can go and stop by to San Diego and go visit the beaches. Make it like a vacation thing. Go to SeaWorld, and they'll visit you one day, and the next day they'll go to SeaWorld and then go the beach, stuff like that. So everybody wanted to go to Donovan, right? Because it's fresher, it's cooler. You come to Centinela, right?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You come to Centinela in the middle of nowhere, or it's like 126 in mid-July, August, and everybody's like, damn, it's hot out here. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to come out here. Like nobody wants to come and live in the heat for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? Like experience that heat, and it lasts us for a good 4 to 3 months out of the year, and then the rest of the year is it's kind of like it's good weather, but it's still. I'm talking about 126, man. It gets hot out here. It's so hot, man. The walls get hot. Everything is hot. Our food, our water, everything is just hot. Luckily, they got AC though, so we're lucky in here, right? But yeah, I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's why. And there's nothing out here. Yeah, there's nothing out here like to come visit or no amusement park, no nothing. There's just nothing but straight desert. All we have is glamour. You come during like Thanksgiving or something like that. You go out to Key Wales and go ride your motorcycles the next day. Wah, you know what I mean? That's it.
And huge difference, right? Scenery, because you're more right next to the border, right? Desert.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Let me
So yeah,
ask.
I think that. Yeah, go
Let me
for it.
ask you. And once you found out about the when death row and you originally heard about the pilot program, uh, were they looking for people that were willing to participate, or was it kind of like random drawing, or were they take random qualify?
Um, well, the qualifications was automatically you had to be write up free. You couldn't get a 115, which is any write up from from drugs, from violence to uh, selling a direct order. Any 115, which is a write up. You know what I mean? You had to be write up free for 5 years. So you had to at least have 5 years clean. And since I've been down since 2013 all the way to 2020, I didn't have a single write up, nothing. So I automatically qualified with flying colors. I never gave them any problems. I was always, just programming. I was a programmer. So that automatically qualified me because I didn't have no write ups. And then I wanted to come closer to home, so I kind of like plead my case saying, look, I'm from the desert area. I'm over here by San Francisco. My family comes visits me, and they come on a Friday. They get a motel, and it's about an 11-hour drive from Coachella all the way to San Francisco up there, and it's it's draining on my parents. they're up in their 60s, you know, and they can't be driving no more. It's real far for them. So I kind of asked for a hardship where they gave me kind of like favor because they're more elderly already, and it's kind of dangerous for them taking those type of far drives. And then my sister and sometimes my nieces would come. So, you know, I just want to let them know that it would help my family a lot more to get more visits, to help me uh, stay programming positively because they were a real big crucial part of my rehabilitation was visitation, family connections, you know, and by getting to closer to home, you know, I could build more bonds, have more family visit me, and start more relationships with people out here, right? And so they take all those things into consideration, and also you couldn't have no you know, because there's people on death row that killed officers, COs, and there's people on death row that assaulted nursing staffs, anything of those natures. They weren't letting you out. Any violent crime like that while in prison, you know, they wouldn't let you qualify for the program, and and so those are the kind of things like if you're a real high profile case, like high profile, they wouldn't let you. They wouldn't let you really qualify for it. Just, you know, and a lot of people didn't want to move. That's the plain truth. They were comfortable. You know, a lot of people are comfortable in San Quentin over there. They know what to expect. And some people have never done time before. Sometimes that was their first term straight from San Quentin, you know, and they thought that by being around a lot of people because they've been isolated for so long and then going into a big old pool,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
a big old pool of all kinds of inmates, that would just like trigger all kinds of things for them and flip out, and they just didn't know how to take it. You know, I know a lot. There's a lot of scary ass people also over there. You know what I mean? And that just didn't want to go because they were scared, straight up. You know what I mean? And so I've been to prison. You know, this is my third term, so I already know what it's like, and I already know what to expect. So I was like, man, get me closer to home. You know, I'm gonna know a lot of people. You know, so yeah, it. Those were the reasons why I kind of got into it.
But I've been how you know him.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, El Iceman was telling us whenever I call back,
yeah.
my audio's off. So
Ooh. So how far along have we gone? You want me to call back,
no, so what I was gonna
or you
well,
want,
I think the issue is
or try again?
when the call gets disconnected and we call back, my audio. I'm not exactly sure where the stream, but
Right.
I think like right now, like talking right now,
Mm.
good. Us get
Okay. Right.
issue, but so I was after this call now and then
Got you.
microphone
Yeah.
as long as
Yeah.
far as the YouTube fine. Iceman just put. I wasn't. I'll drop
Okay.
uh an epic late.
Yes. Yes. And that prison, believe it or not, is one of the oldest prisons that exists. I think it's Folsom's another one. And when you look at it, it looks like a castle, right? And it's deteriorating. Like the door to entering to San Quentin, like the doors, they're huge. I'm talking about like 20 feet high, like big ass 20 feet by like 15 feet long, like big ass giant doors, metal doors. Gotta open them like with two people, and and um and it is ancient, man. It's like old stonework. I'm telling you, it looks almost like a fortress, like a castle, and he's from that area. He knows it's exactly like right on the ocean. Like you could see the ocean from some of our in East Block. You could see it right there. You could see the ocean depending on where you're at on Bayside or Yard side. If you're on Bayside, you can see like the ocean type, like right outside the window. And if you're on the other side, you can see kind of like the kitchen, the dining hall, like and a little bit. You can't see the yard, nothing. But you can see the kitchen hall a little bit. And yeah, it's an old facility. So if he's been there in the 80s, man, and he was in that type of atmosphere where they're active in those times. I've heard some stories from the guys that been there way back in those times, and it was rocking and rolling. They had weights. People, imagine getting smashed with a big ass weight in your face, or like I'm talking about crazy ass bone crushers, like swords. Like they ain't playing, you know what I mean? Like back in those days, there was more respect. There was more, you know, there wasn't no like PC. I heard there wasn't no separated inmates like that. Everybody was just out, and there was a lot of respect for people, and if there was an issue, especially on racial wars, that's what it was. It was like real full out wars. Back in the days, people handled their business, and people died in prison. Like I heard many stories of people who died in prison in San Quentin, like bodies and bodies of people who died in the 80s. So, yeah, man, for you to make it out of something like that, Iceman, I'll give you yours, man. That's right. You did that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's good that you're still, how do you say, got your sanity and, and you know, you stay positive, you're encouraging, and you have a faith, you know what I mean? The faith of God in you. So that's a good thing, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hello?
Oh, sorry, Carlos. Yeah, I
Okay.
forget that
All
that.
right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay,
70s,
okay, yeah.
80s prison, but I know the
No,
call.
yeah.
I know the call's about to get cut off. So um
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to you app and
Yeah. So that's right. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for this night, and all those who are listening. I mean, stay positive, keep your head up, and don't forget this is the year that we get to reflect. We're getting to that time of the.
all right. So the call got cut off. So right now for valid Carlos asking about Javier. I'll hopefully have him back on today. Have him on talk. I'm gonna go ahead and use my have any setup.